We are live for another journaling room live experience. Always great to be here on a Monday at 9 p.m. GMT, which is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So great to be on. Hope everyone is doing well. If you are joining, as always, let me know where you're joining from. It's great to be on here. Looking forward to today's conversation. I've got an incredible guest. I've been working with her for many, many years, and we'll share our story and our journey of the writing, the journaling, the publishing, the legacy, just all the things. Really, really exciting. So, yes, let us know where you're joining from. Great to have you here. I'm Camelle-ilona. Many of you know me from House of Ilona, where I had my women's fashion clergy brand, and we've been doing fashion for many, many, many years. Took a pivot during and after lockdown, and then moved more into the writing space. So we're still in the house, but we're now in the journaling room, where we think, feel, process, and flow. And so I'm a speaker, author. I love to journal. I'm a massive advocate of journaling for, mental health and for clarity and just all the things. Journaling has been a massive lifeline for me in my life, through the good times, through the ridiculously hard times, through grief and loss, and so many different seasons of my life. I've been able to turn to the pen. As my friend Thea said, our pens are weapons of mass instruction, and just some powerful things can happen when you take to the page with the pen in vulnerability. The page doesn't judge you. You don't have to edit it. You can be raw and unfiltered and just let the emotions out. And I've found journaling to be incredibly healing and therapeutic and all the things. Sometimes my journal entries turn into prayers, sometimes answers, but I always leave the page feeling so much better. So just encourage you, if you haven't before, to journal. I've got over 20 books on Amazon, Camille-ilona, and always share one each week. Got plenty to share from. But this particular one, I haven't spoken much about actually. This is one that I produced for a women's clergy event that I was speaking at. It was kind of a small group, and they were dealing with burnout. And so, as I do, produce the book. And this one is called The Flow Beyond Burnout. The Flow Beyond the Burnout. And it's 100 journaling prompts, as my books typically are, to help you heal and lead whole. So I'm going to pull out one prompt, as I do each week. And this one is from the chapter around self-compassion and empathy. And I really like this question. It says, where do I feel pressure to be perfect? Where do I feel pressure to be perfect? Yeah, I find that a really interesting journaling prompt to consider. As always, it's something that I'll go away and process on again. Where am I feeling the pressure to be perfect, and where's that pressure coming from, and is it valid? Just something to really think about and consider. So that's your journaling prompt for today. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and bring my guest on, who is phenomenal author. We're going to go into all the things that she is and that she does, but just an incredible woman that I've had the honor and privilege of working with in different capacities over the years. So without further ado, let me bring on Mrs. Simone Smart. Welcome to the stage. Good to have you here.
Hey, hi Camille. Thanks for having
Hey,
me.
great to have you here. Great to have you here. So Simone, we go way back. I feel like our days started together with Bishop Wayne Malcolm. He wrote the foreword to my very first book, which I wrote in that same event that we met at, Finding Divine Flow. But Bishop Wayne Malcolm, the business bishop, we met at one of his events, and we've just stayed connected ever since. It's been a good few years, hasn't it?
It has, but it's been such a beautiful few years. And I think what's just so, what's the word I'm looking for? What's just been so lovely about the friendship and everything is seeing our growth. mutual paths, but colliding every now and then, but still in our different lanes, doing what we're doing. It's just been so beautiful. It really has.
It has been. It really has been. And we really got to work together with the Navigating Life anthology with Claudine Reed, where you wrote a chapter in that. So, as we're talking about writing and journaling, talk to us a little bit about that writing process for you, writing a chapter in the Navigating Life anthology.
Yeah, so I don't know if you remember, I at the time I had already started writing my own book, but in my head, Camille. So
As you
when that
do.
opportunity came up, and as Claudine does, like, yeah, I've got this crazy idea. Who else is going to be crazy with me? I literally put my hand up before I'd even figured out what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, what I was going to write about. But it was great training ground
Mm.
and a fantastic opportunity because it just confirmed to me. I knew all the while, but as usual, you're fighting the, self doubt and all the imposter syndrome, and whatnot. Like, who's going to want to know your story so much? All that stuff. Um, but having done that, and obviously we did it successfully, and we got to number one, right? The
Yep.
very first anthology book that we did. It just confirmed to me that yes, you can do this. You're an author, you're a writer, you've got it. And I
Mm.
don't say that in a boastful way. I say that in a matter of fact way. It took a while to come to that realization because, of course, I was in a different profession, the legal industry, prior to transitioning. Hence, Bishop Wayne Malcolm coming on board to hold my hand through that, changeover, as it were. And it's always a daunting thing. Like you've done something for years and years without even thinking about it in the, legal field, dealing with clients and going to court and all that stuff. And then suddenly one day I'm like, okay, I'm getting different instructions. What are you saying to me, Lord? So yeah, my first foray into writing, of course, was a daunting one, but it was fantastic. I enjoyed it. It was cathartic. I guess the background to that was the fact that I'd already started my YouTube channel where I should share with viewers that I used to suffer with this debilitating condition called endometriosis. Affects 1 in 10 women in the UK. And part of that conversation I was having with Bishop at the time was the transitioning from one industry to the next, how that was going to look, what would I do, and oh, by the way, I've been dealing with all these health issues and blah blah blah. And actually, I feel like I've got a creative streak in me. I feel like I've got a flair for writing. Da da da. What do I do? And of course, Bishop came out with his famous line. That's it. The mystery is in your history. You
Yes.
know how he opens his eyes and so yeah, that was all there in the background, and I knew that I had to do something where I'm creating and I'm sharing my story
Mm.
and all of that stuff. So to answer your question, it was fantastic. I had to do it, and obviously I haven't looked back since.
Amazing. And you've gone on to, so you wrote one chapter in the anthology, which, so many people that I've spoken to have, we had a great time writing, the
Mm,
writing coaches, the writing sprints, all of it, the editing,
mm,
the whole process. We went through it all. And from one chapter to then saying, I mean, what was that transition like from I've written one chapter, I've poured everything into this one chapter, but I've got more to say. And now I want to write my own book.
mm. I mean, life really should be a series of reinvention, right? We can't stay the same forever. And as I said, I always knew I had a book in me. It was just a question of, okay, what form is it going to take? I always had this obsession, Camille, with the chronicles. I always imagined, fantasized even
Mm,
about writing my chronicles. I think maybe growing up as a little girl, I was incredibly fond of the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I was just obsessed. So that chronicling, a kind of taking the reader from one period to the next to the next sequentially always appealed. So when the idea dropped to use sayings that I've grown up with that have informed me as an individual, taking me from girlhood to womanhood. And incidentally, I should show my audience the book, which is Life Lessons Learned, The Journey from Girlhood to Womanhood. Life Lessons essentially is about a whole bunch of sayings that I grew up with. And take the first one, for instance, the opening chapter, give the world the sunshine, tell Jesus the rest. Wish I can take credit for that. That was my grandma of blessed memory who used to say this to me. Didn't make sense to me at the time, but looking back talking about reflecting and journaling, I could see how she was impacting me, both when she was alive and even when she passed on. So I just felt compelled to share the lessons that I'd learned that took me from girlhood to becoming a woman. And boy, what a journey that's been.
I absolutely love this. And one of the big things, one of the big three that I love to talk about on here is legacy. And I mean, even your grandmother saying these statements and saying these, giving you these lessons, her legacy has not only lived on, it's now in print form. So it really gets to live on. I mean, how does that feel?
Beautiful. When you say it like that, beautiful. Look at me beaming from ear to ear. Yeah, and it's honoring our forefathers, right? It's our duty to pass it on. It's part of our tradition. Back in the day, you'd all gather under a tree, and grandma, grandpa would tell you stories, and eventually you grow up, you have your children, you pass it on, pass it down. So yeah, it's beautiful. And what I love about this body of work, it's my grandma, and the sayings there about my parents as well. My mom would say things like, "The longest road has a turn." And again, when you're going through trials and tribulations, and all she was trying to do was to encourage me to say, listen, this too will pass. I know you can't see it right now, but it's not going to last forever. And yeah, there was a time when it all came back to me when I was going through the challenges with the health, in and out of hospital. I talk about that horrible period. I had an annus horribilis where it was literally a whole year of suffering. That's the only way I can describe it. What should have been 12 weeks, that was the time that the doctors had signed me off to recover from the procedure, from the operation, turned into 12 long months. And yeah, it was tough. It was really tough. But I can look back and write a chapter about that in my book and say, yeah, it was a long road. There was a time when it seemed like it just kept getting longer and longer, but it came to an end.
Yeah.
And Mum's words were true. It did pass. And I lived to tell the tale,
Beautiful, beautiful. It's funny how when we get older, them old lessons start to make sense, boy. Them old songs start to mean something. So that's really beautiful.
Telling you. Another one that just sprang to mind, my dad of blessed memory, he would say, before they have me for breakfast, I've already had them for lunch.
Love that.
And again, like you say, at the time, I'm like, what is this man going on about? I thought breakfast is meant to come, then lunch. But essentially, what he meant was, you always have to stay one step ahead in this game of life, a bit like chess. So always be preempting, always adopt a discerning spirit in whatever situation you find yourself, because you just never know when, somebody might make that move on you. And, we end up in those situations where you can be blindsided by things. But if we have that mindset of trying to preempt and stay ahead and exercising wisdom, again, I turned that into a story where I was in a similar situation. I managed to come out of it.
I love that. Valerie's joining us. Valerie, it's great to have you on. She says, oh wow, Simone S smart.
Hi Valerie.
Welcome to those that are joining us live. It's always great to have you on. So we've talked about writing in that one chapter in the anthology about your journey, your health challenges with endometriosis, and then we talk about this new book, Life Lessons Learned, and the different lessons you collected, those pearls of wisdom from the elders. And so the first half of the book, again, you kind of deal with the health challenges and the things that the lessons that you pulled from the elders, from the people around you. But I want to talk about that second part of the book, because that second part of the book gets a little bit spicy. So let's talk about that.
How did I know you were going to go there? How did I know, Camille? Yeah, there are lots of the book is colorful. The book is colorful. Before we go to the second part, I just have to talk about the journaling bit. I mean, this is after all the journaling room, right? So if I go off tangent, please bring me back to the spicy bits. So you remember when I got to that chapter where I think I was getting a bit of brain fog, writer's block, what have you. And Camille, you were great, by the way, I have to say again, just carrying me through that process. And having our writing sprints, hopping on a Zoom call, minus the makeup and the hair. But literally, it's like, right, we're here to work, okay?
Yeah.
5 minutes? Right, okay. I'll check in again in half an hour. Let's go. They were priceless, absolutely priceless. And there was one time I hopped on and I had news to share about a certain diary.
Yes.
So I have to quickly share this in a nutshell. So I got to this point in the chapter and I'm trying to, you know, trying to make it as fulsome account as possible so the reader truly gets the experience and gets the feel for what was happening at the time. And purely, and I use this word advisedly, what seemed like coincidence. Diaries had been languishing in my vehicle, in the boot, actually my dad's vehicle. And we won't go into all the ins and outs, but I ended up having to go into the boot of that car to get that box out. It had only been there for like the last year or so because it had been stuff that I'd taken from my apartment in London to bring, to my parents' home in Hertfordshire. Had to go into the box, having no idea what the contents were of that box. Taking stuff out, like, gosh, I didn't even know this was here, all that stuff. And I suddenly come across this diary. And when I open it up, lo and behold, the diary related to the exact period in time that I was writing about in the book. Can you believe?
Beautiful.
So you talk to me about coincidence? Nah, pure God incidence.
Beautiful.
And so, of course, what I then
encourage everyone to journal, because again, if you want to write a book one day, that is some of the best content to be able to draw from, to actually have a journal to be able to go back to. And bless Valerie, she's called me Camelle-ilona, the book midwife. Yeah, sometimes I'll be like, bear down and push.
You got it. You can do this. Seriously. Yeah. And, I think all of those, there's something about keeping that energy up where you're like, you got this. Don't worry about it, Simone. You got this. And of course, God's universe conspired such that the material just literally landed on my lap.
Amazing.
So I just feel so proud of that chapter where I literally lifted the excerpts, unfiltered, few swear words and all, just to let reader understand what was happening in real time back then. And yeah, it was priceless. But coming to your spicy question, I mean, the way the book is written, again, how the divine downloads were just coming, Camille, because you were brilliant in that you were saying right from the beginning, just get everything down, just get it all down. How it's going to look in the end is definitely not how it's, how it's going to look in the end is not how it would have looked at the beginning. It took me a while to get that. So I just followed your prompt and like, okay, just get it all out. And then like you're looking at that beautiful painting, you started just doing a few random strokes and then all of a sudden you look back like, wait. And then I realized, okay, this has to be in two parts. The first part being discovering who you are, and the second part being becoming who you are. Because that's the whole point of the journey. Yeah. If you don't know who you are, if you haven't found out and discovered your true character, your nature, the good, the bad, the ugly, where I need to improve, etc., how are you going to become the person that you want to be? So when that revelation came to me, it was just priceless. So the second part of the book is where things get spicy, because I now talk about the professional and personal development that I realized I needed to get me to the next chapter and so on. And of course, Bishop Wayne Malcolm was instrumental in that. Big shout out to Bishop. And yeah, I guess it all kind of culminated in the final chapter where I'm now just bringing it all together, right? All the different strands. And that chapter, yeah, I'm proud because the title of the chapter is one that was coined by yours truly. And it goes, sometimes you just gotta delayer, unlayer, then relayer to become whole again. And I started talking about a bit of success. Oh, are we still there?
It's breaking up just a little bit. Okay, you're back.
Can you hear me? Cool. So I was just going to read a brief excerpt, if I may.
Sure.
Just to get the, yeah. So I started off, I'm a big natural wildlife fan. And the words of this chapter title hit me in my spirit some time ago while thinking about a particular species of insects. I'm more of a big cat girl myself, but I learned something important about a small, beautiful insect, the butterfly. The natural laws in the animal kingdom show us how the butterfly undergoes metamorphosis in order to progress to the next stage of life. Now, if a tiny creature like the butterfly grasps that in order to evolve in life, they need to go from one stage to the next, what makes us humans think that we can skip this process and make progress at the same time? Hence my thoughts on the layering process. And yeah, I go on to talk about that in the book, and I go deep. And then I went one level deeper and used myself as a case study. I just got a little bit vulnerable in terms of the things that I needed to adopt in my personal life, in my love life, as somebody who was ready to settle down, desired a decent human being of a partner, life partner, but wasn't desperate for one. So I had to get to a stage where I had to realize that I had to fall in love with Simone first. And for that, I needed to do some work, right? I needed to shed a few layers. I needed to understand. Isn't it? We can all do the, yeah, but when I was with this one, he did me this and that one did me that. Okay, fine. But what is it that you're bringing to the table? Where is it you feel that you can improve? So kind of went through that process, watched a few videos on YouTube. I mentioned a few of them, my big fans, from Dr. Mars Monroe to Myron Golden, T.D. Jakes, Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins. All of these people have so many things to share in terms of how to do life. And the important thing for me that I learned was you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to be corrected. And you're never too old to start over. And yeah, that was the example that I used myself. So if you want to find out more.
I like it. I like it. You're not giving too much away. I love that. Awesome. Okay, we're almost done, but I just wanted to ask my final question that I love to ask everybody is, in a few simple words, what is life teaching you right now?
Life is teaching me that I haven't got time to waste, Camelle. I'm at that age and stage in my life now where I really, truly do not suffer fools. I believe in saying what you mean and meaning what you say. And never has that been truer than in relationships that we have with each other, friends, family. And I'm finding the power of being authentic. I'm finding that there is so much beauty in understanding how to set boundaries
Yeah.
and ensuring that those around you understand, and communicating always with love and respect. That's always the basis. I'm understanding as well that there's quite a bit of a tigress in Simone. I've got to that stage in life where I've realized that when things matter to me, I will go after it and get it.
Love that.
Like in situations regarding my loved ones, like my mom, my family, when it comes to matters of health, when it comes to, maybe dealing with other outside individuals on their behalf. So I have to deal with her medical team or people from the caring industry. I can get pretty brutal in terms of what I know she needs, do you know what I mean? What works, what doesn't. In my younger days, I wouldn't have done that. But I'm now at that comfortable stage in life now where it's like, we tell it like it is. Ain't got time to wait. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's my attitude. That's my attitude. Yeah. No nonsense.
Awesome.
On with it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Simone, author of Life Lessons Learned, and excited about your book launch this Sunday.
Yes, absolutely.
So congratulations on that. Do put some more details in the chat so people can connect and find out more. It would be awesome to be able to get people to hear about it, to support the book and everything else, we'll just drop your links into the chat. So thank you so much, Simone. It's been great having you on. Life Lessons Learned, available on Amazon, available on many retailers online. You've done an amazing job, and I know this is just the beginning of the incredible things you got going on. So thank you again for joining me.
Absolutely. I will share all the details just to let everyone know the launch is on the 5th of July on a Sunday. It's in 2 parts, but I will share all the details and it'll be on all my socials as well, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of them.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Simone. Great having you here.
Thank you for having me again. I enjoyed it. Thanks, Camille.
Awesome. Thank you so much to my guest, Simone Smart, who joined me today speaking about her latest book, Life Lessons Learned. And I'll be hosting at her book launch this Sunday, the 5th of July. Very, very excited about that. Love the comment that Valerie made earlier. Journaling is the secret to the easy way to write a book. It really is. If you have a book in you and you're not sure where to get started, journaling is a really great place. It's a really great place to draw from. That's how I was able to write my very first book, Finding Divine Flow. So just encourage, as I always do, journaling is a great way. Verbal processing is a great way to help you think, feel, process, and flow. Find your flow in life and in all the things that you're doing. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Valerie says, congratulations again to Simone. It's been great having you on. See you here, same time, same place, Monday, 9 p.m. GMT, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for conversations around journaling, publishing, and leaving a legacy. Awesome.